welcome to a special web-only edition of TMI with Aldous. Very short video today. I just wanted to address, well, the big topic, the election that happened this week. There's been a lot of confusion over how it all occurred. We had the Seltzer poll that was telling us that Iowa was probably going to break for Harris, and that clearly did not happen. What we need to remember is that outliers are outliers when it comes to polls. It's one poll on the extreme, it needs to be backed up, corroborated. Kind of like the scientific method. You need to be able to replicate your results in order to determine whether or not what you're looking at is just some weird thing or if it actually is evidence. Anyway, here's the thing. There were important and significant tricks pulled at key places, in the swing states. And that did allow the outcome to be this way. But that's not the core issue. The core issue was it was close to begin with. It was so close that these tricks were able to go ahead and affect the outcome of what happened. So the core issue is actually really simple. There's going to be a lot of people, there's so many factors in this. No, not really. I mean, a lot of what could be considered progressive ballot proposals and that kind of thing did really well. Several states, New York and all these places, wound up being able to enshrine abortion rights in their state constitution. Missouri managed to reverse its abortion ban. And in the case of Florida, you had 55% or so support that would have been able to secure abortion rights for that state if DeSantis and company hadn't gone and made it so you have to have 60% in order to, get something like that passed electorally. But point is, you had all these things that could have been considered progressive measures, did very well. Here in Wisconsin, the Democratic candidates and the progressive proposals on the ballot did extremely well. Meanwhile, the GOP also did very well. You had them retake the Senate. And even as I'm making this recording right now, we still aren't sure who's going to have the majority of the House. Whoever does, it's going to be a 1-2 seat majority at best. Anyway, point is this. All of that does have one thing in common. All of that does have one thing that is simple to understand, even if it seems contradictory in some ways. There was massive dissatisfaction in the status quo. And it's been pointed out by a friend of mine that dissatisfaction is a bit of a mild word to use. Massive amounts of anger, fury, if you will, at how things were. Change for change's sake was the driving force in this election. Even when that change was contradictory. Okay, just as a quick example, Missouri went hugely for Trump. Hugely, bigly, right? But they managed to break their abortion ban. That meant that there were people who voted for Donald Trump in Missouri who voted against the state's abortion ban because they wanted the change, both of what had been given to them by their state legislature when it came to abortion and the change in the presidency. They wanted change, and they didn't care if the one could possibly interfere with the other. Oh, but Trump said he's not going to ban abortion. And whatever. That's not right. Anyway, change. Now, Harris was backed into a corner. I'm really sorry to say. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that Tim Walz wound up being a part of this because I think he's a great guy. And frankly, I don't think Harris is a bad person necessarily. She was put in the role of defending what already existed. The slogan even that we're not going back says that what you're building on is fine. It's a defense of the status quo. And this was a horrible election to be defending the status quo in. So here's the thing, though. This actually does give one bright glimmer of hope for the future. Bear with me. What Trump's going to do is not going to be the kind of change anyone wants. All right, not really. Not when it happens, because most of the people who voted for Trump either didn't care what he was talking about, they just wanted the current situation out, or if they did care about what Trump was going to do, they bought into his really bizarre worldview that said that tariffs are a good thing for what he wants to accomplish, that they're not going to ruin the economy, that somehow it's not going to be detrimental to have mass deportations, all this stuff. They bought into the lies that these are going to make America great, per the campaign slogan. And so because of buying into that, well, they're going to be horribly dissatisfied with how things happen if those things occur. And if for some reason Trump was just blowing smoke and actually doesn't do any of this stuff, then they're going to be horribly dissatisfied that things aren't changing either. Either way, Trump's whole thing is just screwed. You see, right now, what people are actually hungry for is the kind of change that, honestly, Bernie Sanders first pointed us towards back in 2015, 2016, right? When the Democratic primary was going on. People are still hungry for that. If we focus on that, well, we might be able to make some progress in 2026 and 2028 if we can get there. So there's hope for the future, but the path to get there right now has a big bridge out sign. And we have to work out how we're going to get over that yawning gulf. Anyway, this is Aldous Tyler for TMI. Thanks for listening. Remember, it's not over. Don't give up. But we can't lie to ourselves about what happened. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.